Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, welcome to our studio. As a regional journalist from the third largest city, I'm very happy and it's a great honor to have you here. And I hope that our conversation will not only be informative, but also very open and offering new perspective to our viewers. So, I know that you're here in part to participate in USAID, supporting women's forums entrepreneurship, right? And can you tell more about this?
So the primary purpose of my coming here was to attend a ceremony for a sort of graduation ceremony for one of our USAID projects, which provides training to women entrepreneurs, helps them learn how to grow their business, how to market, how to make connections that will allow them to get more clients, more business. And it's actually working in 3 countries. It's Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. But this is for the Kazakh participants a special day because they completed the course. So I'm here to mark that. But while I'm here, I'll be doing some other things too. I will be visiting the new Coca-Cola bottling plant here in Shymkent, which we're very excited about the opportunity of that plant. Coca-Cola already is doing a lot of business in Kazakhstan, of course, but here in Shymkent, this bottling plant is going to create a lot of jobs and bring new business into the city. So we think it's a great thing. And while I'm here, I'll also be doing some cultural things. I'll be visiting the American Corner we have here and speaking to some students, going to Miras University and talking to students there. So I'm looking forward to the day very much.
Okay, looks very interesting. So, and I want to thank you as a Kazakh woman for your supporting the gender equality in Kazakhstan by supporting all these women entrepreneurship programs. And what other USAID initiatives in Kazakhstan you expect to see in the future? So USAID's already been working in Kazakhstan for more than 30 years. So we have a long history of activity here through that agency. We're going to keep working in years to come in certain areas that we focus on now. One of them is entrepreneurship, helping small businesses develop. We also work a lot in the energy field, providing technical assistance to help make the energy system here more efficient and connected to other countries in Central Asia. We do work in education, a lot of support for universities, for English language teaching. And then USAID specifically is also working in the area of developing civil society, helping non-governmental organizations to get a boost so that they can contribute more to their communities. So they're doing a wide variety of activities, and that will continue. Obviously, everything we do depends on what the citizens of Kazakhstan and the government need, and so we're being responsive to the needs, and I think that makes for a much more productive kind of partnership when it's, we're not just saying you need this. That's not the way to do it. We say what will help you, what can we bring in terms of our experience, and that's the way USAID works, and the U.S. Embassy as well. We have a lot of programs as well. Yeah. So then I'm moving to this question that I've prepared, because you are telling that the USA also helps about like making energy efforts of Kazakhstan to work. So what about the recent discussion of potential construction of nuclear power plant, and maybe does the United States consider participating in this project, possibly through a consortium?
Yeah, so I know obviously the referendum took place last week, and now presumably the next move will be to make a decision about who's building the plant. And of course we all know everything has been well covered that the president and other senior officials have talked about some kind of international consortium. Now, as you know, there's already 4 companies that have put in bids to build this plant, and none of them are American companies. It's possible that at the end of the day that some American technology might be used and there might be American companies contributing their technological solutions. We have a capacity in our embassy to support American companies who are trying to set up business here. So if an American company wants to participate in the consortium, we will support that and try to convince the government that they should include American technology. But it really remains to be seen. We don't know who's going to come forward. And I should add that, you know, what I talked about earlier with Coca-Cola is one of many such examples of US companies that are coming to Kazakhstan, bringing their technology, bringing their experience, and contributing to economic growth here. So maybe that's in nuclear too, but at the moment, we have to wait and see.
Okay. And yes, as a part of my program, Shymkent Invest, we often discuss the region's opportunities with the foreign investors. And besides Coca-Cola, are there any American companies looking for investing here in Shymkent, preferably for us?
Of course, yeah, no, of course, you care about your region,
yes.
So you want investment here. Well, what I can tell you is that there's a growing number of US companies who are looking at Kazakhstan for investment, and I think Shymkent should be on their list of places to look. We had a trade mission here just 2 weeks ago. 20 American companies came to have talks with potential joint venture partners. They met with government officials, and they were exploring opportunities. And it was a wide range of companies. It was companies that work in the medical field, healthcare and medicine. There were companies from the digital world, technology companies. There were companies in the energy sector who were part of the group. And some who work on sort of more retail and consumer products. So it's a growing market, I think, as most companies can see looking from outside, and we see a lot of interest here. It is true, though, I have to admit that because Kazakhstan is so far away from the United States, we have to do a little extra work to educate people about the opportunities here. And but there are huge growth opportunities. I see them here in Shymkent especially. So I hope for more US business to come here in the near future.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I can at least practice my English, you know. I know that you also worked as an ambassador in Uzbekistan. And given your extensive expertise in Central Asian affairs, which Kazakh regional initiatives do you consider the most successful, and what challenges still lie ahead, from your opinion?
Okay. Now, when you say Kazakhstan regional initiatives, you mean things that Kazakhstan has initiated in Central Asia. So, well, first of all, I'll say that 10 years ago, almost, Kazakhstan was one of the first initiators of what we call the C5+1, which is our diplomatic platform to engage with all 5 of the Central Asian countries together. And I remember the very first meeting of the C5+1, which took place in Samarkand in 2015. I was there with then Secretary of State John Kerry. And it was the beginning of something that has grown into a really important partnership. We're doing joint programs with all 5 countries in a lot of different areas, things related to security, law enforcement cooperation, things related to economic trade between the countries, making it easier for goods to move over borders, environmental initiatives, energy initiatives, and all of that started really largely due to an initiative by Kazakhstan. I think Kazakhstan deserves a lot of the credit for driving that. And what I've seen over the years, because for the past 10 years I've spent a lot of time focused on Central Asia, is Kazakhstan is unquestionably a leader in pushing for more regional cooperation and integration. And just to go back to what I was saying earlier about USAID and some of its programs, one of their initiatives has been to better integrate the energy systems, the electricity connections between the Central Asian countries. And again, Kazakhstan has been in the forefront of that effort in cooperating with USAID on that. So there's probably many more examples I could cite, but the main point is that regional integration is important, and Kazakhstan sees that and has been a leader in promoting it.
Mm-hmm. And I know that like you are not to say obliged, but you have to say very like good things. But what still what problems do we face now from your point of view?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it's the freedom of speech or I don't know, human rights.
Mm-hmm.
What still needs to be done?
Yeah. So, well, I think there's a lot of challenges that Kazakhstan still faces. And I mean, I think that the president and the government acknowledge this and all the speeches and everything. They talk about the things that still need to be achieved. And so, we, through our regular dialogue with the government, we go through these challenges and we talk about ways in which the United States, through its experience, through its expertise, its technology, might be able to help. So in the economic area, we know, for example, that Kazakhstan wants to become in the forefront of digital development, mm-hmm. and already has made great advances in digitalization. But I think that technology leaders here and government officials recognize that the U.S. is the leader in the world in that area. And so we can help with meeting some of the challenges of digitalization through our companies, through our experience. It's true in lots of other areas too that relate to the economy and experience with having a market economy, how a market economy operates. It's also the case, I think, you mentioned human rights and sort of what we would call governance, the approach that you have to how you organize governments and the relationship with citizens. And in that area too, we have useful experience to share. We have a democracy in our country that's lasted more than 250 years. And it hasn't always been easy or smooth. We've had a lot of challenges ourselves, and we look at democracy as a journey. It's not a destination, it's not a final destination, it's an ongoing journey. Mm-hmm. And it takes a while to get to a point where you truly have a system that is responsive to the citizens and reflects the will of the citizens. So our feeling is that our experience, our 250-year experience, can be helpful to Kazakhstan, which is only 34 years as an independent country, or 33 years and counting. And I would say that our counterparts on the government side accept that and support a very honest dialogue. Mm-hmm. In that dialogue, we talk about a broad range of issues related to governance and democracy and human rights. And we recognize what we think are positive steps and progress. You mentioned earlier, you talked about gender equality earlier, and I think Kazakhstan has made important strides in that direction. And just this past summer, some important legislation was passed related to domestic violence, which we think is a step forward. There are other areas where we point out what we think are shortcomings or where more progress is needed, related to freedom of speech, related to freedom of assembly, and some of the other fundamental human rights. So it's a respectful dialogue that we have, and we hope it's a useful one, and we think it is for the government and the people of Kazakhstan.
Mm-hmm. And for sure it's going to be set by the cultural exchange programs, right? Where people from your country come and kind of teach us or help us to by giving all this experience that you gain, right? Mm-hmm. So what kind of cultural exchange programs we shall wait from America?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to cultural exchange, there's a lot to be gained by both countries and both peoples. And we were very active in that area. Just not long ago, I think maybe 2 months or less, we had a musical group here from the US called Tonal Soul. I got to spend time with them in Astana, but I know they came to Shymkent as well and did a concert. And we do this at least once a year. We have some kind of musical group coming. And we also have, in the past, we've had dancers and artists, people from the cultural realm. And we know that Kazakh artists and Kazakh cultural people come to the United States and do the same thing. I actually, last year, attended a concert in Arizona, in Phoenix, of a group called Turan, musical group from Kazakhstan, who were touring the United States, and they were fabulous. It was fantastic. So I think it's really important to have that kind of greater understanding of each other's cultures by having that kind of exchange. We also do a lot of educational exchanges, as you know, where we provide opportunities for Kazakh students, but also sometimes for people who are in their career already to come to the US to study or to learn something about how our society works. And there are also American students coming here to Kazakhstan to study. Just yesterday in Almaty, I met with a group of about 50 US university students who are all spending a semester or a year here in Kazakhstan studying. So I think those things are great, and they really promote mutual understanding. So some of it is about teaching each other things that are useful, but some of it is just about understanding each other better by having that exposure to our cultures.
And the last questions, because we're running out of time. Kazakhstan is renowned for its rich cultural traditions, and recently we welcomed Mayor Musk, who participated in the Kazakh tradition of Tusau-Keser. I think you saw it on Instagram. And as a diplomat, you have likely encountered interesting local traditions as well. Could you share some moments that particularly stood out for you?
Okay, sure. So, well, first of all, I saw a news report about this Tusau-Keser ceremony that she did. So I have had the great honor of doing 3 Tusau-Keser ceremonies. I just did one a few weeks ago. Usually it's somebody from my embassy. We have many Kazakhs on our local staff, and if they have a son or a grandson or granddaughter, they've asked me to do the ceremony, and it's a huge honor for me to be able to do that. So that's one tradition that I've been part of and have just really, I think it's so special. And I know it's deeply rooted in the traditions of the Kazakh people. I'll also share a story that goes back a long way from my very first visit to Kazakhstan, because I first came to your country 32 years ago. 1992 was my first visit. At the time, I was not working for the US State Department. I had a different job, but I came here, and one of my experiences was to be part of a dastarkhan, where we had a sheep that was brought out, all cooked and ready to eat, and the person who was serving, the aksakal at the table, was serving different parts of the animal to different people. And I was the youngest at the table at the time. This was a long time ago. I was the youngest, and so I had to eat the ear. I was given the ear to eat, so I would listen better, to my elders. And I can't say that I loved the ear. It was not my favorite piece of meat to eat, but I did it, and I said, this is different. This is unique. I had never experienced anything like that before. But I really liked, not only did I enjoy the food, but I also liked this idea that what you eat is a symbol of something that's important for your behavior, that you have to behave a certain way, or you gain wisdom based on the part of the animal that you eat. So anyway, that's one of many great cultural experiences I've had.
Well, that's very, very surprising moment. Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity for this conversation. Please, we want you to come more often, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Can I say one more thing?
Yes, sure.
In Kazakh. Shiraylı, Shymkent'e, келмеуі, өте қуаныштымын.
Wow. Біз де қуаныштымыз. Рахмет сізге көп. So, thank you.
Thank you.